Welcome to another youth-centered podcast. This is our second one in the year 2020. We're really excited today to have our recreation coordinator, the lovely Lauren Sanford, along with the famous Ty Mullen. Ty's been around the youth center a long time, and they're going to introduce themselves in a second. But we're here today to talk about an innovative new program that we've put together this year called Adventure Leaders. It is Lauren's leadership program that she's going to be running this year, and it's off and running. We're halfway through the school year, and it's pretty darn cool, and you'll hear a lot about that in a second. So as we start off every podcast, we like our guests to do a little bit of an introduction. Now, we know Ty really well, but the rest of the community may not. So who is Ty Mullen?
My name's Ty Mullen. I go to North Andover High School. I'm in the 10th grade. And I am a member of the Core 4 leadership group, and I'm also a member of the Adventure Leaders leadership group.
And you're missing out. I saw you yesterday. You're also the manager for a very good hockey team. Isn't that true?
Yes, varsity hockey manager.
Did you guys win yesterday at Lowell?
We tied.
Tied with Tough Lowell. That's a team that had beat you before, right?
Yes.
So Ty obviously wears a lot of different hats, which we'll be hearing about that a little bit more. And now Lauren, obviously our recreation coordinator. For people that don't know Lauren yet, who's Lauren Sanford?
I'm Lauren Sanford, and I've been working here for over 6 months now. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and yeah.
And she's loving all the different programs that she's doing here at the youth center. So, all right, thanks for coming on, both of you. We want to let our community know a little bit about this Adventure Leaders program. So the concept got brought up that we were looking to add another leadership program for our high school kids. We're trying to find innovative and new ways to include high school kids into the youth center. Obviously, everybody knows that the fourth, fifth, all the way through middle school and early high school, the youth center's got a lot to offer. And then high school kids feel like they're a little bit too old for some of the youth center stuff. So we've kind of done a lot of things with part-time employment, leadership programs, sporting activity, et cetera. So Lauren was charged to start the Adventure Leaders program, which she's going to talk a little bit more about. And what we tried to do was to engage what we thought was maybe a group of new kids that maybe hadn't been involved with our programs, that had an interest in adventure, an interest to possibly help us with a lot of our adventure programs. Most notably, our climbing wall in the gym here always needs staff to be able to belay kids on the rock climbing wall. And then another hidden jewels of North Andover is our amazing challenge course that we have in the town farm area. So obviously we've been doing a lot to try to generate some interest and activities out with that. So this Adventure Leaders program was kicked off at the end of September, and I'll let Lauren talk a little bit about the program.
So with Adventure Leaders, a lot of people had thought that it was just about being outdoors and doing all activities like that. But really with Adventure Leaders, we do so much more. It's really volunteer-based. They help me run programs and go on field trips with kids, because even though it might not be outdoorsy, it's still something that brings them outside their comfort zone, which is really important. So far, we've had a bike program that one of the leaders, Nick, was able to help me with. We just do a lot of different things. We volunteer. We did the holiday gift wrapping. In the spring, we're going to be doing some trail cleanups and the ropes course and all stuff like that.
And how was the hike you went on this fall?
Oh, the hike. The hike went pretty good. It was really cold at the top. We went to Mount Monadnock. I think that most of my leaders really enjoyed it. I'm not sure if my leader Riley really did, but everyone else seemed to have fun.
The inside joke of that is Riley actually sprained her ankle coming down the mountain, but she's doing well now, and she's a real trooper. Lauren, just a quick shout out. Who are our adventure leaders?
So, of course, Ty. We also have Ben, Nick, Riley, Emma, and then we have Ethan and Ethan.
We have two Ethans,
Two
correct?
Ethans. Doesn't
And
get confusing at all.
one goes to the high school, one goes to St. John's Prep.
Mm-hmm.
All good group of kids that I don't think they weren't all close friends when they started this, right? They're a lot of different kids, correct?
Yeah, I know that Ben and Nick are friends, which brought in a fun dynamic because they mess with each other, whereas in the beginning everybody else was kind of shy, which was nice.
And Riley and Emma are kind of friends too, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So that crew. And Ty, you're a standalone guy there, right?
Yeah.
Lone wolf.
So you talked a little bit about, some of the activities you've done. Talk to me a little bit about the trainings that the kids are actually doing. I know we just finished up a training on today with the rock wall and belaying with our consultant, Ryan Chassie. Talked a little bit about that, Lauren.
So the rock wall is getting pretty popular on Fridays and Saturdays. So with that, we want to make sure that we have the adventure leaders trained so they're safe with it and everything. So they did an awesome job. They really picked it up quickly. So I'm excited to see how they do with that in the future. We're also going to get them first aid and CPR certified. So that way, if God forbid anything was to happen, I know that they would be prepared and confident to help out anyone that needs it.
So they're learning skills that not a lot of kids have, like
Correct.
obviously belaying, which will help us with our climbing wall and help us with the ropes course. They're going to be doing the basic first aid, CPR, AED training, but a little bit more with the wilderness safety training too, which is going to be great for these guys. Ty, like, what interested you of getting into this program, and why are you one of our adventure leaders?
I've always been interested in doing things outdoors, whether it's just going outside or like doing ropes course stuff, which I started getting interested at Project Adventure going in the summer, going from 5th grade to 6th grade. I started doing the summer camp program at Project Adventure in Beverly, and I learned a lot of my technical ropes course skills there. And then I've taken him to the youth center, met Ryan Chassie, and become good friends with him through our knowledge in ropes course stuff.
Yeah, Ty's actually probably our most experienced adventure leader because you did a lot of things with Justin before Lauren got here, and you were always a little bit of our help. And what people don't know is you're also moonlight as a DJ at one point in time, because I know you did a couple of our events at the end of the school year party, etc. So, like I said at the beginning, you wear a lot of different hats, and DJ is another one. But you have a real interest. You're one of the guys that, we look at you as a guy that really likes to be out in the wilderness. And what about being out in the wilderness and outdoors in general? Why is that such an interest for you?
I like it because you're not sectioned to do one thing. If you're inside, you don't really have as much that you can do. Because if you're outside, you have fresh air. You have nature and stuff around you. And it's more interesting than just looking at a blank wall or sitting in front of a TV, because you can do a lot more stuff outside.
Absolutely. Now, one of our greatest followers on our youth-centered podcast is the newly retired gym teacher from the middle school, MB Chesler. Anytime we ever put you on social media, she's the first to say about how awesome of a kid you are. So I know she'll be listening to this podcast too. But Ty, what have you learned about yourself so far from this program?
I've learned a lot about teaching other people, especially today when I was helping out Ryan Chassie teach the other adventure leaders how to do the belaying and rockwall knowledge that I already have. So I've learned a lot about teaching other people how to do things that I've already learned how to do. And
you're pretty confident. So do you feel good about yourself, and does that help you with just general confidence also?
Yeah, especially when I'm doing with things that I'm very comfortable with, such as ropes course stuff. I'm very confident in that because of my knowledge and training in there.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned also that you were selected, it's been a couple of years now, that you were selected to our Core 4 program, which for people who don't know our Core 4 program, it's a leadership program which starts off every June with a youth conference on Lake Winnipesaukee. with kids from Andover, Methuen, Lawrence, and North Andover. It's an incredible program. Remember the first time we took you up there, you were a little nervous, didn't know a lot of people. And what has that experience on Core 4 been for you in terms of helping you become an adventure leader?
I've gotten a lot more comfortable meeting new people, especially from like other towns. So that also helped me like when I was meeting new people in the Adventure Leaders program, and I was also able to like talk to new people that I would have never really seen before and become friends with them.
Exactly. So tell me a little bit of some of the technical skills that you've learned with this group, as well as some of the technical skills. I mean, the premier program is Project Adventure. You mentioned you've gone to some camps there and programs there. So as someone who doesn't know a lot about technical skills, what are some of the technical skills that you actually have?
I haven't been like specifically taught some like rescue skills and stuff, but I've picked them up from like having like little like side conversations with the instructors at Project Adventure. I've been going to Project Adventure for about 6 years, starting the summer of 6th grade, and I've gone from like 6th grade to 7th grade, 7th grade to 8th grade, and then for the past 2 years, I've been a leader in training, which is like you're older than the other people who are the normal campers, but then you teach them how to become a leader in training when they get older. So like you're almost like an instructor.
Awesome. Now, both of you know Ryan Chassie pretty well. Ryan Chassie used to work for me as the original position that maybe Lauren has now. It had a little bit more of an adventure flair to it. Ran our ropes course, did a lot of different things like that. And since he's left here, he started his own leadership program, his own outdoor adventure program, and he does really well. And we hire him to consult with us on our ropes course for some of our larger groups. He's involved with a lot of our trainings. And today you both got to spend a lot of time with Ryan. He's extremely knowledgeable of the things that we're doing adventure-wise here. So with that said, Lauren, what are some of the trainings that you've been on either before Adventure Leaders started or right now? And what are some of the trainings you're going to be continuing to go on to continue to help you evolve in this position as adventure coordinator?
So before Adventure Leaders had started, I went to my own wilderness first aid course where I got to learn how to improvise when I'm in the woods and not close to a trail, on how to keep people safe and get them back in one piece. I also went to Project Adventure, and I went through their adventure programming course where I was able to learn a lot of different games, but the games have meanings behind it, so you kind of teach kids without straight up just teaching them. They make it a fun way. In college, I did a bunch of different trainings there because they have the recreation management program. I'm about to get trained on becoming a CPR instructor, so I'm able to help teach and certify other people.
And you're going to be doing that for all of our eventual part-time employees here.
Yes.
That was one of our goals with that. So will you be heading back to Project Adventure for some training, and what will that entail?
Yeah, so in the spring they have adventure like facilities program, so that'll help me facilitate high ropes and low ropes and be certified in doing that.
Awesome. So you're going to continue to grow and continue to learn this in this adventure field. Lauren, touch on a little bit. We're talking about the Adventure Leaders program here, but for kids that are interested, both middle school and high school, we run a ton of adventure programs besides the ropes course and the climbing wall. You mentioned the mountain biking program. What are some things we got going on this winter in terms of adventure, and some of the thoughts you might have for the future?
So coming up, we have the ski program. A ski field trip. We're going to Gunstock on a Friday night. We do the rock wall every Friday. We have done geocaching, which is fun. It's a coordinate-based treasure hunt where people hide little boxes in the woods, and you're able to go and find them. The biking program, and we hope to do that again in the spring. And I'm hoping to do more trail hikes and getting kids more outdoors to be able to experience that.
And you're looking to use these adventure leaders to assist
Yeah.
that as some volunteer labor for us that have obviously an interest. And the goal is for these adventure leaders not to be just trained, but also to come back and help us run adventure programs. Is that correct?
Yeah, and have them become more confident and want to kind of lead programs themselves, so they're not always just like helping me out, but I'm more there to help guide them, so they'll be able to really grow from that experience.
Absolutely. And the skills that these kids are getting are amazing. They're lifelong skills. Like Ty will use a lot of these skills his rest of his life, especially the fact that he loves being outdoors. Ty, why don't you talk a little bit to our listeners about our rock climbing wall? So our rock climbing wall is this wall in the gymnasium that has a beautiful art design done by Mrs. Olansky about 15, 16 years ago. Can you tell people what is the rock climbing wall? What does it constitute? How many routes are there? How's it go?
So on the rock wall, it's almost like an infinite number of routes because you can kind of decide where you want to go and make your own challenge that way. You can either go up like the middle one, which seems to be your easiest route, or you can go to either like the far left or far right, which seem to be harder ones. And based on the path you take will depend on your challenge. I basically started doing the rock wall back when Justin Barry used to work here, and on Friday afternoons, me and him would basically be outside the gym, climbing up the wall, go and basically learning like new designs to make on changing around the rock holds and stuff. And now for the past few Fridays, I've come in and Lauren has helped me with belaying the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and so they can climb the rock wall as well.
And you're also coming in along with the adventure leaders. We're going to be doing this for our 4th and 5th graders on Saturdays. We've got to purchase a little bit of smaller harnesses for some of the young kids, but we'll also be doing that for them too. And we do have the capability in our rock climbing wall to always change the routes, and it's something that you and Lauren will work on, probably this summer to change the route, so it's not as, the same routes all the time. And I love seeing some of the competition of the race going up the wall, and we have a little bell at the top, which people try to ring at the top when they succeed. One of the best things is I saw a number of kids recently climb for the first time. My guy Carino, we saw it was actually on Facebook. Carino, not a big fan of heights and things like that, but he got up on the climbing wall. That was pretty cool with that. So we're obviously invite all of our middle school kids down and our 4th and 5th graders on Saturdays to use our rock climbing wall. The second thing that we have, which is really big, is our challenge course. Most people in town don't even know it exists. It was built over the course of the last 30 years. We've done different elements there. When we initially started the NAYRS Challenge Course, there was no development around there. And obviously since then, Blue Ridge has been developed up and some of the surrounding streets. So we're still in the middle of the town forest. And we have a really good ropes course. Just recently inspected again. We inspect it every year, and we're doing some renovations. We did some renovations to our low challenge course, and this spring we're going to be doing some renovations to our high challenge course. So something else, Lauren, that we're hoping the adventure leaders will help us with?
Yeah, and after talking to Ryan, all the plans for it seems really sick, so I'm really excited to be able to get them out there, enjoy it, and then be able to run trips over the summertime so the kids can enjoy it too.
Yeah, we're really looking to, we always do use our ropes course, but we're looking to take that. Lauren is excited. She's probably my first coordinator in the last number of years that's really pumped to, do some new things out there and get these kids exposed to being outside a little bit more. And our goal is, to do more than just the stuff in this building here. So we're pretty excited with that. Lauren, from this podcast, we already are getting questions. How does someone become an adventure leader? So if I'm correct, this group we have is committed for this year and hopefully beyond that. But if you wanted to be a new adventure leader, when does that start again? Next year?
Yep. So when the applications go out for the other leadership programs, ours will be going out too. There's an application, so you fill it out and apply and just state why you think you would be a good fit. And I would be very excited to have this program grow more, and especially now that I have my first year kids who will really be able to take anyone new under their wing and really grow this program and make everyone
So
want to join.
the kids we have right now, they're in grades, if I'm saying 10th and 11th mostly?
We have 3 ninth graders.
3 ninth graders.
We have Ty, who's a sophomore, and then we have 3 juniors.
Okay, so we've got a nice rotation here. Those juniors obviously will be with us next year. Then they'll go off to college. But, you know, a couple of those ninth graders, we'll have them for 4 years,
Yeah.
and we'll be able to continue carrying those over. And I honestly believe we do limit. We don't want a ton of kids every year,
Yeah.
just from the training aspect. And obviously, it's a little bit different than, say, our youth counselor or MVP mentoring program. But so I guess the suggestion would be to hook up with Lauren next September when school gets back, if you are interested and you're at least a 9th, 10th, or 11th grader. We probably wouldn't train a 12th grader, only because they'll only be with us a little short time from there. So, but obviously reach out to Lauren at the youth center, and she can give you all that kind of information. Let me ask you something, Ty, as we kind of start to wind down this podcast, is what would you say about anything, adventure leaders, North Andover and adventure? What would some things you'd like to say our listeners to hear?
I would say something that I've definitely seen a lot of is like, don't be afraid to try new things, especially with ropes course and stuff. People are usually nervous because they're either like afraid of heights or like they don't really trust the equipment. But like after like seeing them go up a few times and they become very comfortable with it, and then they don't want to stop doing it because they realize how much fun it is.
Absolutely. And you'd be around if any young kids were interested in knowing what you do and things like that. You'd be interested in talking to them, right?
Yeah, I like talking to people who are willing to like learn about it because I have a lot of knowledge in it, and I'd be happy to share it with other people.
What's the future hold for you? Obviously, you're only a 10th grader, but do you see adventure being in your future, whether it be professionally or just socially and having fun?
Possibly. I'm thinking about going to college to be a construction manager right now,
Awesome.
which is still like kind of like in the outdoor field because like I enjoy being outdoors instead of like being inside like a cubicle inside like an office like that.
Nice. My nephew, that was his degree at Wentworth University, is construction management, and he heads up a great construction company down in Washington, D.C. right now. So it's obviously been a great career for him, and he obviously, just like you, he liked being outdoors. He liked finding a way to find a professional career that he could use his outdoor skills and things like that, which is great. Awesome. Lauren, what would you like to say as a final word to our listeners about this program or our adventure programs here at the Youth Center?
I'm so thankful that I have the opportunity to run this program and expose the high schoolers as well as the younger kids with the trips that we go on. I encourage everyone to try some of the programs that we do offer. I do love seeing the kids that are so scared to go on the wall, like Carino. He was talking a lot of smack about it, and to finally see him get up there and be confident and then want to go back up. He's just one example, and it makes me, I'm so proud, and it's so exciting. So make sure you guys try out something that might scare you.
Awesome. And Lauren can be reached here at the Youth Center at our main number or through her email, and should be actually answer any questions about our adventure programs or our adventure leadership program or adventure in general as we go forward here in 2020. I want to thank both Lauren and Ty for coming on the Youth Centered podcast today and sharing their knowledge about adventure leaders and adventure in general.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so that wraps up this week's podcast. I want to obviously tell people we got a lot of things coming up here in January and February, different ones. We have a program at the middle school that Michaela Rodden is running with some middle school leadership type things that we're going to talk about. And then our next part 2 of Anthony Sederi and myself will be back to talk our second episode around addiction, which was very well received from Anthony's first edition that we did about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So once again, I want to thank our guests for coming on the Youth Centered podcast. And as we finish every podcast, we always say too much passion is never enough passion.